everyone, welcome back to Adaptation, you lovely viewers, you. If you are new around here, then this is the vlog where we talk about film adaptations and the original material they're based on. And we also have a podcast that's pretty cool. I'm Kendall Bryant, and this week I'm going to be listing the books that our team thinks probably shouldn't be made into films. There are just some stories that are better told by words and not moving pictures, and we think attempting it is just going to result in embarrassing failure. First up, we have the novel S by J.J. Abrams and Doug Dorst. The way the plots intertwine in this book would just be very hard to convey on screen. The book itself appears to be the novel Ship of Theseus by V.M. Stratka, and then a separate plotline takes place in the margins where there are notes from two people that have passed the novel back and forth. And because the comments aren't always chronological, the film just wouldn't have the same effect in a more linear timeline. And as a devout margin writer myself, I think there's something special about the idea that the notes in the margins can play out their own story. And if you put it on screen, that's just going to take it away. In a similar way, although maybe a little bit more convoluted, House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski would be nearly impossible to show on screen. It's written in multiple formats, starting with a first-person narrative, and then in an academic film study, a film script, interviews, editor's notes, and a host of footnotes. Even if a film could take all of that and boil it down to a basic storyline, there's still a bunch of visual stuff that happens in the pages that just wouldn't translate. Some words are emphasized by being different colors than the rest of the text, and the page layout is completely unconventional, with the text arranged in patterns to reflect what's happening in the story. Maybe that doesn't sound super important to the story itself, but it's what makes the book special, and taking that away is like taking away the cushions to a chair. That's right, it's like taking the essence. Changing pace a bit, the next book on our list is a sequel. While Madeleine L'Engle's A Wrinkle in Time already made it to the screen in 2003, the sequel, A Wind in the Door, has never been attempted, and we kind of think it should stay that way. A lot of what happens in this story doesn't happen in a visual way. For example, the characters spend a lot of time talking telepathically to each other, which might result in really bad film voiceovers, and that should always be avoided. But more than that, the book's theme focuses on beating evil in small ways, and films tend to favor big, dramatic victories. Also, at one point, the characters shrink down to talk to Charles's mitochondria, and that just seems like an adventure better left to Miss Frizzle. Next, we have the novella Anthem by Ayn Rand. First off, in the world the characters live in, they're not meant to think of themselves as separate from the whole of society, not as individuals, so they don't use any singular pronouns. It's always we or they or are, which might be a little bit confusing on screen. Additionally, the plot progresses kind of slowly and doesn't have that turning point where they beat the big bad because there isn't a big bad. It's just the whole of society, and that might not be as satisfying to moviegoers as it is to readers. Finally, as awesome as it is, Going Bovine by Le Boubre might be a little too weird to put on the screen. The main character, Cameron, has mad cow disease, and he hallucinates a lot. Kind of weird stuff, too. And there are times when you're not really sure if what's happening is his hallucinations or not. It works really well in the book because you can walk that line of believing, but on screen it might just ruin the magic, or worse, look really corny. This is actually partly the same reasoning I have for not wanting a Slaughterhouse-Five movie, but they actually already made one in the 70s and there's a new one in the works, so I'm reserving judgment. But that is it for our list of books that we kinda hope they don't try and make into films. If you can think of any more, or you agree or disagree with our choices, let us know in the comments. All of our social media links are in the info section, and make sure you check out our podcast on iTunes. Also, don't forget to drop a line if you are going to be at VidCon with me. Until next time, remember, not all books need adaptations.